Today I'd like to talk about the chord type Sus4. Often students misread Sus4 as 5/7 first inversion chord, which is 5/6/5. But actually it has a very similar shape of chord, but it's a different chord. So this is a C, how Sus4 chord looks like. So you have a C on the bass, which is the tonic, right? And then you have the fourth instead of the third, but you still keep the fifth on the top. So that looks like 5/7, the shape of 5/7 first inversion, which is a 5/6/5, but this is C Sus4. All right, so you have step 1 on the bass, step 4, and then fifth on the top. All right, let's see how C dominant 6/5, so dominant 7th chord of C first inversion looks like. So they both have F and G on the top, but instead of having C, the tonic on the bass, they have the 7th of C on the bass. So that's how you can differentiate the C Sus4 from C dominant 7, because the C dominant 7, the first inversion, you have 7th on the bass, but they both have F and G on the top. So that's the reason that many students get mixed up and misread the C Sus4 as a C dominant 7 first inversion, which is a C 5/6/5. All right, so make sure that they both have F and G on the top, but the C Sus4, you will keep the tonic on the bass. But the C 5/7, the dominant 7 first inversion chord, which is dominant 6/5 chord, you have the 7th on the bass. So that's how you can differentiate C Sus4 from C dominant 7th. All right, so then let's talk about how we build up G Sus4 and G 5/6/5, which is the dominant 7th of G first inversion. All right, so G Sus4, so you keep the bass, the tonic on the bass. All right, and then which one is the fourth note of G? G, A, B, C. So C on the top. All right, which note is the fifth note of G? D. So you have C and D on the top, which is the fourth and then the fifth, and then you keep the tonic on the bass. All right, so now let's build up G dominant 7th, the first inversion. G 5, the dominant triad, first inversion. All right, okay, so first of all, we have to find the fifth note of G, so which is D. So D is gonna be on the bass, and then we build a 4 notes chord on G. All right, so it's gonna be D, F sharp, A, and C. Okay, all right. All right, and then we're gonna turn it into a first inversion. All right, so this is how G dominant 7th looks like. And then we're doing the first inversion of 5/7, which is called 5/6/5. So 5/6/5 means the first inversion of the dominant 7th chord. So trying to turn the root position into a first inversion by moving the bass note octave higher. All right, and then we're trying to keep the rest of 3 notes stay at the same place as the root position. Okay. All right, so that's how the G dominant 7th first inversion, G dominant 6/5 looks like. So they both have C and D on the top. All right, but the G dominant 7th first inversion, 5/6/5, you have the 7th on the bass. All right, but G Sus4, you have the G on the bass, the tonic. Again, so G dominant 7th, the first inversion, which is a G dominant 6/5, you have the 7th note on the bass, but they both have C and D on the top. And then most of the time you don't play A, right? It's okay to play A, but in most common way you don't play A. They just prefer to play 3 notes chord many times, right? Okay, so that's how the G dominant 7 first inversion, G dominant 6/5 looks like, and this is how G Sus4 looks like. They have a very similar shape, but it's different chord.